Okay, welcome back. This is a series on how to make a box. In part one, we made it the outline, the shape in Adobe Illustrator. And in part two, we put it into Cricut and put all the score lines in. And now in part three, we are going to use this pattern to create a piece of paper that I'm going to cut out the box shape from. So this is the pattern that I've created, and I wanted to show a couple of things before just printing it on the sheet. So this is just the pattern. I have not put it into the Photoshop pattern part yet. I'll do that in just a minute. First, I wanted to show you that if you go to the View menu and go to Pattern Preview, Photoshop does not like to do this for some reason. I just always hit OK, and it gives you the whole pattern. This allows you, when you're creating patterns, I can even edit in this screen, and I did that when I was creating this pattern to bring in all of the different elements that I had and to create it into something that's going to look good as a pattern. If I hit the Alt button and scroll, you can see what the whole box is going to look like. Okay, so now this is a pattern. I like it, and I'm going to create it for the box. All right, so the first thing I'm going to do is go to Edit. I'm going to hit Define Pattern. This is the PNG that I named it, but I'm going to just say UFO Box, and that's going to be my pattern name. I'm going to hit OK. All right, up here on one of my tabs, I have created an 11 by 17 piece of paper. And what I'm going to do now is I am going to create a box for this piece of paper. I'm going to use my rectangle tool, and I'm going to create a full box, okay, over that whole layer. Now that layer starts out as blank, which is fine. And now I have a rectangle in there, and what I can do over here is say, I want to put in a pattern. And it comes up with the first pattern that's sort of default. And I'm going to scroll down here in all of my patterns. And I'm going to hope that this UFO one shows up. It did, yay. And now I have some options. So this is a fairly large piece of paper in 11 by 17. And so I might scale down the pattern a little. No, it's a little busy. So maybe I'll just go to 50%. And yeah, I kind of like that. Now the other thing that's going to happen here is I'm going to print my box out sideways. And so this is my pattern, and it will work if you turn your head sideways. However, I really designed it to be seen this way. And so I'm going to tell my angle here to go to 90 degrees. Okay, so that's going to go that way on the paper. And then I'm just going to print this large piece of paper because everything else I need to do is in Cricut. Okay, so I'm going to go File. I'm going to say Print. All right, I'm going to talk for a minute here about how important it is to get some of these things right. Okay, so in print settings, first of all, I'm going to change my document size to, it's in here somewhere, 11 by 17. I am going to ask for it to be borderless. In the settings box over here, Adobe wants to expand it. And it's okay to do this on a pattern. So I'm going to go okay for that. If I was using, for example, a picture or a series of photos in there, I might say retain size. All right, paper type is going to be presentation matte. We're going to print it in color. And high, and you can do black grayscale, and I may experiment with that a little bit later, but for this one I'm just going to do that. Say OK. Now right now it's not the right way, so I'm going to flip that. Okay, so now that's the layout button, portrait versus landscape. And in Photoshop Manages Colors, I am going to use for this one Epson S RGB. This is what I usually use when I have a paper that I don't have the ICC or the color correction file for. It prints probably the best out of everything else I've tried. I'm using new paper today because I am experimenting with papers that are less costly, because these are going to be boxes that I'm going to use to print and sell in the store. And anything I can do to save myself a little bit of money if I can get similar quality, I'm going to do that. Oops, I did all of that and then I didn't print it. Okay, so it's got all that stuff I set up is still in there. All right, I'm going to say print, and it's going to say the image is larger. Always says this. I'm going to hit proceed anyway. And you will see in the next video how we print this and then cut it out.